And so I used the God-given talent that I had, and I really worked hard.
She was really interested in the music, and we had a large Kahn organ in our home, and she would practice from 4 to 6 to 8 hours a day, and we had music all the time, and it was wonderful. And we didn't have to prompt her to get her to practice. She did it voluntarily, and she liked it.
In choosing a college to get my musical education, I did choose what I believe, who I believe to be the greatest organ teacher of that day, who was Mildred Andrews at the University of Oklahoma. And I received a bachelor and master's from there. And I won national competitions in organ and national competitions in composition as well. And then I received a Fulbright scholarship to study at the Amsterdam Conservatory, and went on to Paris, France on a French government grant, and studied composition and then conducting and organ and harpsichord and chamber music. So I really had a wonderful education, and one that was very disciplined. I had the most technical, pure teachers in the world, I believe, for music, who taught me the art of discipline, and everything had to be perfect, but also, of course, it had to be musical, and it had to be from the soul. We must commit ourselves individually to Christ, and I did that at an early age. And therefore, music was not an end in itself to me. Music was a means of communicating to people, and in my case, hopefully communicating not only the beauty of music, but the life-changing power of Christ. And then I was always a little bit offended, too, that Christians and perhaps church music had a reputation for being second class, because I believe that God is the giver of all gifts, whether we want to admit it or not. He gave us our talents. He gave us our gifts for composing and performance. And I have always wanted to be able to give him the glory for it, and to play and perform excellently, and to somehow reach the world with excellence in music, but the message of Christ and his life-changing power. When I was living in Paris, I came home for Christmas to Wichita, Kansas, and I received a phone call from Dr. Kennedy. And he told me he had heard about me, and that they were interested in having me as the organist of the Choral Ridge Church. So I thought about it, and I prayed about it, and I finally decided that this was God's place for me. So I came down, and Choral Ridge was a fairly small church at that time, and they had a little organ, and kind of a home model organ, which was fine, but certainly wasn't like I'd been playing in Paris and Notre Dame and these great cathedrals. But I knew that this is where God wanted me. I tell the story that the first Sunday I played at Choral Ridge about 14 years ago, that I went outside after the service, and you know these marquees that they have, or activity boards. It read, services 9:15 and 11, the sermon, what is hell like? Come hear our new church organist.
Welcome to The Joy of Music, featuring as hostess Diane Bish, the First Lady of the Organ.
I've had the opportunity through my Joy Music television program to go around the world and perform with some of the great classical artists who not only are great musicians, but who have realized the transforming power of Christ in their lives. People like Jerome Hines of the Metropolitan Opera, Christopher Parkening, great classical guitar virtuoso, Suzanne McDonald, the famous harpist, Sung Suk Lee, the great opera star. And then not only performing with these people and hearing their testimonies, but going to the great cathedrals of Europe and monasteries where Christianity had its roots, where Bach and Mozart and Handel played the organs and composed the music. That I've had the opportunity to do, and to bring to not only the United States now, but on Europe, to bring this to them on television. That's been a real unique opportunity. In college and in my study in Europe, I always went another mile. I always made sure that I practiced and not only learned the piece, but learned more. And I just, I worked more than I should have or could have, although I enjoy other things. I wanted to be the best, and I wanted to be the best for the sake of Christ. I think that a Christian should offer his very best to the Lord. And then after we have done that, and after we have committed ourselves to the most excellent work that we can do, then we can pray for his blessing. And I think that that commitment to excellence, as well as that commitment to Christ, has brought me into fields of service that I never dreamed of. And I really give God the glory for that.
Thank you, Diane, for sharing yourself and your ministry of music with us today.